this is it. If you've been following my couch video, how to reupholster videos, this is the final one. It took me a very long time. I blame having my third baby. Anyway, in this video, I'm going to show you how to do the bottom and all the finishing touches. Now that leftover fabric from making your couch might be eating at you and you want to use it. So go watch my pillow patterns and pillowcase patterns in case you want to just make a cover. You could do either thing. So the pillow pattern will allow you to make an actual pillow, and the pillowcase would allow you to take an ugly pillow that doesn't match anything. Like I'm going to go finish off this too. I'd cut off the fringe, but either way, go check those out. And finished couch, amazing, and non-stop compliments when people walk in the door. All right, so I've got the couch on its back because we're working on this front panel here, and what we're doing is I've taken, if you feel on my couch, there's like a ridge here where the original seam was. So I'm folding my fabric to line up with that. And we'll go ahead and put a pin in there. And if you come look around the front here, the original couch only went up this far. And what I'm going to do is come a little bit further than that, so I'll be able to tuck it under right about the same spot. So I'm going to put some pins across here for that. We've got our pins in place just all the way around. These are just to keep it from moving as we sew and stitch and stuff. And I went over here and I did the same thing on this side. I folded it to line up with this ridge. So down here on the bottom, you can see this is the bottom here. We're going to just go down far enough that we're sure that we won't ever see it from above. Could follow your dots. I'm not being perfectly straight here by any means. We're going to attach that on the bottom. Okay, with your curved upholstery needle, we're going to go all the way across the bottom here. Done all the way across the bottom, so that's attached. And now we're going to do just a hidden stitch. So I'm going to start down here on the ugly bottom of the couch where it doesn't matter. And we're just going to go through the channel of the fold over here. And then into the actual fabric on the side. And then through the channel. Be careful you don't pull so tight that it puckers. But you want to pull tight enough that it actually stays there. And every inch or so, if you want to go in and tie a knot, that way in case your thread gets caught on something like this pin, you won't be out of luck. So to tie your knots, you just kind of fold to the side where you're not going to see. And do that. So anyway, we're going to go all the way up here, and then we'll be back. Okay, so I stitched all the way up here, and I'm right up to this point. This is the edge of the couch, and I'm coming up right where this crease was. I'm just going to tie off, so we're not actually attaching right here on the couch yet. I'm going to tie off and go do the same thing on this other side here. So hiding the thread down here and coming all the way up to this point. Nice, so now we're ready to work on the top of the front piece. So we're going to fold this under, and we're going to be really careful. This is one of our tricky spots. If you folded this too much on the side, you would see some of the original couch. So you want to make sure you're going to meet this up with the side over here, and folding all the way across. And we're just going to keep stitching up in here from the side. And we will continue all the way across the top here with our fold. About halfway across the front here, and I thought I'd just show a close-up of the stitching process. So I've got, I don't know if I pointed out, the upholstery needle I switched to from the point we ended up on the edge here. And, you know, you just don't want to see a bunch of it on this backing material. Not that it matters because it's covered by the couch. So I'm just going in really close next to that. And when you come up, it's almost into the side here. You can see where that is, as close to the side as you can get it. And you're not really concerned about being super close with your stitches. And I'd say every 3 inches or so, putting in a tie stitch in case this pops. The whole thing wouldn't go then. So, gonna finish up. That is super easy. We are just gonna tuck. If you don't have a finishing stitch already on your fabric like I do, you might want to run some sort of zigzag or just kind of run a strict or just like a straight stitch through it or whatever. Anyway, but since mine already has the stitch just from purchasing it, you can see it's got to keep it from raveling. And even if it didn't, look how long that is. I mean, anyway, but all you're going to do is tuck it back out of the way into the couch. Anyway, do that all the way down. If you really want to be cautious about that coming out again, if you're concerned, you could take your upholstery needle and go in and run a stitch across. But really, if it pops out, I can just push it back in, so I'm not concerned. Okay, it's time to stitch the back. Before we can put on the pretty panel in the back, we've got to deal with all the stuff coming from the front. So all we're going to do is use that upholstery needle. It's the curved one. And as we work around, we're going to be making sure we pull things. You can pin it if you want, but I'm just going to go ahead and pull and stitch. But always be checking from the front. You know, like when you pull the stuff back here, if you were to pull too hard and make it look weird, you know, just be checking that as you pull that you don't go too far. And you're going to go all the way around to the other side, and then we'll put that back panel on. I'm going to skip back to the front for a second because we've tucked the fabric in from here and from the armrest, but we haven't attached it. So with the upholstery needle, we're just going to peel this back and go in I'm just going to go back and forth between the arm side and the front cushion side. And you make sure you go not into just the fabric, but into the couch below it, so that it's really attached. Anyway, we're going to go all the way across. Make sure this is pulled back as far as it needs to be and smooth. And if these ever pop out, just add in some more stitches. Every once in a while you can go in and tie a knot so that if your thread breaks, all your stitches aren't destroyed. So after this one I'm going to tie in a knot. Keep going across. Keep pulling from the side over here. Make sure that all looks good too. You can come look at my side over here real quick. We've got to be making sure there's this little pocket, so we've got to very carefully, I just lost my needle. There it is. Alright. Anyway, you want to make sure that it's seamless, your transition from side to front. So I'm going to have a pocket of fabric right here that I will stitch this to this, and then the rest of it's going to go into here. So just play with it till it gets looking good. From both sides. Because that will be with the straight needle. Let me switch over to that. Okay, so right about this point is where I will have that switch over to a straight stitch. Anyway, so go in, do that, and then come in with a straight stitch and make that seam. And if you haven't already done so, go across there, all the way to the back, which we just did. You can see just how nice that looks. Can't even tell we were there. Stitched up on the side. And now for the back. So I've got pinned the straight section all the way across the back. But there's all this extra flap still that I have to deal with. It's too much to pin under. So what I'm going to do is cut my fabric kind of following the shape of the side of the couch, and then I'll fold it under and fold it in curves and whatever I have to do. I'm just going to follow the side of that couch and get it all pinned. Okay, I've got the back totally pinned. You can see I just curved around and just followed the shape of the couch. I wish I would have had a little bit more fabric at the bottom for the fold under, but it wasn't worth buying more to me. It fit, you know, so if you have more fabric, I'd make it a little more space to go around the other side. I have like 3 inches there. I feel more comfortable with like 4 or 5, but anyway, and I'm going to use a straight needle to go in and just connect this piece to this piece going through the channels, and we'll be back in a second. So I've done down the sides and the top, and now it's time to attach to the bottom of the couch, and just make sure it's snug as you're going across. You don't want to have a bunch of like rippling fabric like up here. You just want to make sure it's nice and snug. So I'm gonna go all the way across, making sure to go into the actual bottom layer of, I don't know if it's like canvas, whatever the original material was there in the bottom of the couch, and getting through all the layers there. Anyway, keep going all the way across. I stitched the bottom, and at this point you could just walk away. However, we all know that over time this is going to ravel and come out. So we don't want to see threads hanging from the bottom. So not using upholstery fabric, we're just going to use some cheap, it's probably $2-3 a yard cotton in a, a color that you aren't really going to see it, but I chose black because it goes with it. And what we're going to do is line this up and just go all the way around and stitch that, and it doesn't have to be a super pretty stitch. We're just making a big rectangle on the bottom here. There we have it. The bottom's on. We've got the legs back on. If you're worried, like if the bottom of your couch is saggy, if it's that old, you might run some extra stitches just kind of through the middle section just to keep it from that, but mine's not sagging, so I could always flip it over if it does that over the years, but it's time to flip it over. Back to the wall. Yay! Side around, got the legs on, and now it's time to put those cushions on.